Well, good afternoon and welcome once again to Ed's Orchids. Now, we've been having a look at Phragmopediums a bit too much lately, so I thought we'd just have a little change and have a look at this Dendrobium nobile that I got. If you remember, I bought it in full flower and it's still looking very, very nice. You know, the colour of the leaves are quite good and it's got these nice growths on the bottom. Just turn it round and you can see all the growths. There they are. So I'm keeping it well watered at the moment and well fed just to promote these new growths. Now, as you all know, the nobiles, the Dendrobium nobile, they're classed as soft cane dendrobiums. They're deciduous, meaning that they lose their leaves and they lose their leaves before they start going into bloom again. This probably only applies to the species of these nobiles. The species will lose all the leaves. The very many hybrids there is knocking around now normally retain a few of the leaves, with one of the canes being in full leaf, as it were. Now, they like to be potted in a mix of sort of small to medium, which I've got in here, and it's covered with some small to medium bark on top. I haven't had anything else inside, only there's a few growth stones and probably a little bit of perlite. What they do require is plenty of light. They need plenty of light or else they'll not flower properly. You can tell they're getting the right amount of light by the colour of the leaves. These are a nice shade of green, the upper ones, whereas these are a little bit darker because it's the time of year and we're not getting that much light at the moment. But come a bit lighter and these will lighten up and they'll be much better. Now, the temperature range of these is, I think it's classed as intermediate, something from 60 degrees to 80 Fahrenheit. This will give you a decent cultivation, but they will take slightly higher temperatures and they'll not suffer from any ill effects if they go up to 85 or getting up to 90, something like that. Now, as far as fertiliser goes, it's recommended that you use an NPK of 20-20-20 fed at half strength for 2 or 3 weeks, followed by a flushing to rid the medium of salts and solids. If you haven't got a 20-20 and you're close to superstores or garden centres and stuff like that, try getting some phosphorus. Now, phosphorus is an excellent fertiliser. I know one of our lads at the of our Orchid Society uses nothing but phosphorus, phosphorogen. Uses nothing but phosphorogen, and he grows some magnificent Paphiopedilums, Cymbidiums, and anything you can mention. They're all magnificent, and he uses phosphorogen. Now, phosphorogen is always ready and available anywhere you have garden centres and stuff like that. It's relatively cheap compared to the stuff you buy for orchids. Has an NPK of 16, 20, 24, and it also contains all the essential nutrients. Now, you see a lot of these nobiles, they'll flower from middle of the plant to the top. And there's nothing from the middle of the plant down to the bottom. Whereas if you go and buy one that's just been imported from Holland, such like that, it's flowered all the way up. Now, whether they have some secret ingredient, which I know they do have to make things bloom and grow, that makes it do this, but there's one way you can get them to flower from the bottom, and that's by giving them, excuse me, a couple of cold months in the winter. You know, drop the temperature below 40 degrees, and then you've got a good chance of these nobiles flowering from lower down in the canes. And once these are flowered, they also need pruning. You know, you can prune them by cutting off the stalks where the flowers have finished, which makes the plant look much better without all those little bits sticking out all over the place. So they can be pruned very well without doing them any harm at all. Now, I've just been looking at some other videos on YouTube, and I noticed that a few YouTubers complain about yellowing leaves on these. Now, we must remember that they are deciduous, and they will lose the leaves quite naturally. You know, the species of them will lose all of the leaves, while the hybrids will lose probably half to 3/4 of them. If this yellowing starts at the wrong time of year, then it could be because of overwatering. It could be caused by underwatering. This will cause all the leaves to get yellow, but if the leaves are only sort of a blotchy yellow, if you know what I mean, then this is probably due to being out in the sun too much. Well, there's not much more I can tell you about these Dendrobium nobiles. I hope it's been useful to somebody. So thank you for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, I'd be much obliged if you did so. In these troubled times we're having at the moment, keep yourself safe, keep yourself warm, don't mix in big crowds, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Bye.